So this is me, you know, the girl with the huge badonkadonk. Yeah, that's me. I have been wanting to drive since I was younger, you know, to get in a car, beep, beep, honk, honk. I went to go take my driver's test, and I failed not once, not twice, but 3 times. I'm literally going to go into cardiac arrest. Somebody please save me!
This is the dimension of imagination. It is an area which we call the Twilight Zone.
I have literally, not going crazy, but I might as well be going crazy. I've been trying to get my license for the past week. I've wanted my license since I was like young, because when I was younger, my mom is one of those people that are always late to stuff. Everybody laughs and kikis about it, but that's traumatizing. I used to be at school, because I remember specifically I did clubs in middle school, so I was like on debate team. I was in National History Club. I remember my mom, she used to always be late. And so it would be like this really awkward moment where I would have to wait with the teacher by myself. And even to this day, sometimes that still does happen, even though I like do everything possible to avoid that happening. Matter of fact, like I'll tell my parents to get there early just so I don't have to wait. So yeah, it's just like driving is like another form of independence. I am only 16 and I feel like I forget that a lot. Like I feel like nowadays, because you see so many people getting younger and younger doing it. When I say it, I'm not even just talking about driving. I'm just talking about like in general. Like you see so many people like just doing their stuff, popping it, really like starting careers, producing movies, like having 1 billion subscribers on YouTube channels, like all that stuff at like not even sometimes 16, sometimes younger. It just feels like I'm so far behind. It just feels like I'm so old nowadays, and it's like I'm not, but that's how it feels. This looks like I'm picking my nose, but I'm clearing my piercing. Y'all know I got a piercing bump at one point. That was traumatized because I actually have keloid skin. Like I don't know, like it's not showing because of the shirt I'm wearing right now. So I have like a keloid right here. So I thought it was a keloid, and because people call it a keloid, but it's not a keloid, it's a piercing. So I'm over here thinking it's a keloid. I'm freaking out because nobody wants to walk around with a keloid on their nose. Today I'm going to retake my driving test. Not for the first, not for the second, but for the 3rd time. If I don't get it this time, I'm literally going to K-word myself. If my therapist was watching that was a joke. I would never. I think I'm gonna bring it home. I do. I'm very confident in myself. If you guys are watching this video, then I'm brought home the thing. I'm not putting this. If I don't get it, I'm deleting all of this footage.
Who gonna tell her? Who gonna tell her?
The times when I failed, it was over dumb stuff. So like the first time I failed, I actually did hit the cone, and it was because I was in like a bigger car that I had never driven before. And the cars that I had practiced with were like some baby cars, not baby cars, but like little tiny cars. So I'm over here just like, oh, like I got it. And so I pull into the parking place, like a pull in, and I hit the cone. She's like, you hit the cone, that's automatic fail. I'm like, oh. And it's so funny to me because pulling in is like the easiest for some people. It's backing in for everybody. And backing in, like sure, like I might have to readjust myself or I might be paranoid about it, but that's the easy, well maybe not the easiest. Obviously the 3-point turn is the easiest, but like it's easier for me to back into a space than pull into a space. I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe it's just how my brain works. Pulling in is just weird for me, but I've been practicing with my dad actually, because listen, no offense to if my driving instructor is watching this, she probably isn't. She is. But I feel like a lot of driving schools in this area are pretty ghetto, because I was like, before I even signed up with this person, I was trying to find someone because I was like, you know, ready to take my test and da-da-da. And whenever I would talk to my friends about like who I should take, they would be like, oh, actually you don't want to take like my driving school, it's ghetto, it's this, it's that. So I'm like, all right. So finally I find a driving school that is, wait a second, oh, found it. I think y'all should give this a try. Where is my toothbrush? Oh my gosh, my room got cleaned yesterday and I wasn't expecting it to get cleaned because it actually was a hot mess, but it got cleaned. I wasn't expecting to get clean yesterday, and now I can't find like any of my stuff. Anyways, y'all, so basically, can you hear my stomach? Can you hear my stomach? Like, am I tripping? Like, I can hear it, but can y'all hear it? But like, I would not go to my driving person unless you already knew how to drive, because she ain't teach me jack. Like, my dad, everything I know, my dad has taught me. The car that I'm driving is my mom's car, and it's significantly like higher off the ground. I might have to bring a pillow to sit on, because like I don't have a problem with big cars at all, and I also think that's why backing in is easier for me in that car. And backing in is easier because I can see like in my rear view. Second time I failed, me and my best friend went to the same driving school, and me and my best friend do a lot of like the same things. So a lot of the times, because people are aware that we're best friends, they'll just like group us together. Okay, my best friend has already got her license. Okay, she just wanted to take her lessons because she paid like, oh my, I just look so stupid, but it's okay. She paid like $300, so she wanted to get all her lessons in. So she's still taking her classes or whatever. So I'm texting my teacher, because my teacher was there the first day I failed, because I came back the next day. The day I failed, my teacher was actually there with another student. Can my teacher take me? My mom and my dad, they were going to a house viewing or whatever. They could not take me the next day, so they're like, oh well, we'll just have your teacher take you. She takes you for like $125, right? I mean, I think it's kind of pricey, but I figured I was gonna pass, so I figured it wasn't like a waste or anything. So we go in the car. My best friend is driving, she's taking her lessons. She brought my best friend with me so she could combine it together. My best friend says to me, she's like, yeah, Trin, like, don't be afraid to like pull forward and pull back. If you need to, like, don't be afraid to, like, you don't have to just get it in on one try, which is so true. It's still true, and it still stands to this day. I'm just like, yeah, thank you for whatever. My driving instructor, she just looks over, like, she's like agreeing with Anaya. She's agreeing with Anaya, that's my best friend. She don't say a word. She's like, yes, like, it's, even when it comes to your 3-point turn, if you have to do it in like 6 different points, it is what it is. So I'm just like, okay. I pull in, I like swear I hit the cone when I pull in, but apparently I didn't. I think there's just like a little bump. But all right, back out. So I back out, and she's like, all right, so you're about to do your back in. So I get ready to do my back in, and I'm backing it. I pulled forward once because I was unsure, and at that point, after I pulled forward, I could have just backed in, like, and I would have been straight. I wouldn't have hit any cones. I would have been fine. But I was paranoid because I had already failed the day before, and I came back, no practice, no nothing. I'm like, okay, so I'm just like paranoid, so I keep pulling forward and backing in because I'm just like, nope, like, better safe than sorry. So I did 1, wasn't comfortable. 2, wasn't comfortable. So I pull forward 3rd time, but this time I go all the way up. The thing is, before, when I was pulling forward and pulling back, I was doing like little tiny things. I don't know why, but I just wasn't going all the way forward and using all my space. So the final one, I pull all the way up. I'm like, nah, I'm pulling all the way up, making sure this car is straight. And I really was about to go back. Like, I really was about to. And the driving instructor comes over. She's like, park your car. I'm like, park your car? I didn't hit any cones, baby. What are you talking about? And she's like, I didn't know I wasn't allowed to pull forward. And she's like, oh no, you are. You just have points. You have 8 points essentially. So a point gets taken off if you don't use your turn signals. For how many times you readjust yourself. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I didn't know this is a thing. So Anaya and my driving instructor walk over. And Anaya's, you know, she's confused because she's just like, what? She ain't any cones. So I talked to my driving instructor. I'm like, hey, like, did you know there was a point system? Some girl gonna say, oh yeah. What do you mean, oh yeah? Don't you think that's like some valuable information that you should have mentioned to me before I freaking got in this car? All she told me was there was a 3-minute thing, and I had more than enough time left. And the way I was raised, I am just raised to to respect adults, period. All I wanted to do was cuss this lady out. Actually, it's very simple. You have to pull in, back in, 3-point turn, stop at stop signs. Like, it's a very simple test. Everybody and their mama is vested with me. I'm wide awake. Yeah, I was in the dark. I was falling hard. With an open heart, I'm wide awake. Y'all, I gotta tell y'all a story. But yeah, hopefully we pass this. But let me tell y'all a story, bro. And this is so funny to me because have y'all ever, I don't know why I'm about to ask you guys a question, like you guys can respond. Have you guys ever met a guy who you know obviously does not get rejected like that? Like, you can just tell by his like demeanor and the way that he acts that he just does not get rejected. Well, I met a guy like that, bro. So he slid in my DMs or whatever. Cool. And he slid in my DMs, and at first I was ignoring him, not for any particular reason. I don't know, I just was waiting for him to like act on everything he was saying. Like, he wasn't saying anything wild, but he'd be like, you're pretty, and I'd be like, thanks. and then it would just never go further than that. I don't know what's wrong with guys nowadays.
Like, ask me out to dinner. Hey, yo.
I don't know, maybe he thought I was supposed to be the one who was supposed to act on that. And you know, now that I look back at it, like in hindsight, that's probably exactly what he thought. So he probably is not used to making the first move, and maybe that was his version of a first move. Can I use this on my... I don't want to use that. That's so ugly. Where are my brushes? That looks so hideous. People have been taking my brushes out of my room. Everybody swear they want a sibling until this happens. And it's not even like they just use it. Like, they mess up my stuff. I guess he just was expecting me to make the first move or whatever. Hey, a good looking guy or whatever. I don't know if I want to name his physical attributes, but he had a lot of the physical attributes that I feel like a lot of girls want. Like, it was no denying that he was a good looking guy. My friends were always like, well, how haven't you like made your move or whatever? And I'm like, cause he need to make his move on me. Like, what the heck? And he technically did, but I wasn't gonna, I don't know. I want you to come out directly and be like, but I can't always get what I want. And that's what my friend had told me. I shouldn't have listened to her though. I really shouldn't have. So I'm like, all right, fine. So I texted him and Alexa, stop. So I texted him and I'm like, I don't even know. I say something like I guess I could pull up the text messages, but I don't want to because I feel like that's too specific and it just happened. So he's like, we're texting, we have a good FaceTime call or whatever. And actually, no, I am not giving you guys the full story time because I want to do an actual story time on this. I'm going to do this like later, but I'm just going to say, no, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to say it yet. I'm going to keep it a surprise because that would be a really good video. Life has been going so great for me ever since. Listen, I know I've liked men or boys or whatever since I was born. Go ahead, say it. I don't even care. Y'all can say it. Y'all can be like, oh, you boy crazy, girl. I mean, I'm not boy crazy in the fact that I always have to have a man, but since I was young, and I don't know if this is like a bad thing or a good thing, I was telling my therapist this, I was like, girl, I have always had a crush on somebody because it's fun. Like, I even told my dad this. I was like, having a crush is like 10 times better. I'm sorry, I'm putting a little bronzer in my eyeballs. Having a crush is like 10 times better than having a genuine, like an actual boyfriend, because I don't know, it's just so much fun. I love, and I always have loved having a crush. I feel like they're so exciting. It's so interesting because you build up like the person in your head and they're basically perfect to you, and then sometimes when you crush on somebody too hard and for too long, you finally get with them, you're like, this is not what I thought it was going to be. Life has been so peaceful without men. Like, men stress me out. Like, literally, not even dating, like talking. I feel like talking is even worse. Like dating, honestly, I had my easiest time when I finally dated somebody. When I talk to people, it seems like, I don't even know, like that, it's just horrendous.